Hi everyone. This is Prabhat, co-founder Nected. In this video, I'll talk about how you can build Swiggy-like conversational chatbot using Nected within a day. So, to give you a quick glimpse, this is the chatbot UI, which we have used a UI template and tweaked it a bit. The whole logic here, in terms of what question to come, what option to come, is being driven by the Nected rule engine and the workflow automation platform. So everything that you see is being driven by the backend, where we have built this at the back, which I'll show you in a bit, and integrated via an API. So if I go back to the Nected, this is the workflow which we have talked, which has an exact flow in terms of what will be the starting question, and based on the answer, what will be the next question, and so on and so forth. So this is how this flow is what we have created. So I'll just talk about it in details in a short while. So this project has been developed by one of our intern developers and took us like a day and a half to build. Half of a day went into just finding this UI template so that we don't have to do that work. Another half went into the building the right contract and response to the API so that the front-end team can use those contract and accordingly render these questions and answers without needing to hard code anything, which again, this is what I'll talk about in detail in a short while. And the last half actually went into implementing this whole flow over Nected so as to get things working. So before we deep dive into the actual implementation, let me give you a quick overview of what Nected is. So at Nected, we are building these suites of low-code, no-code building blocks like rule engine, workflow automation, experimentation engine that can plug with your existing systems in minutes, can read data from your own data sources, can reuse your apps, but comes with a non-tech friendly UI where you can build any kind of a logic or flow to automate your customer-facing flows. With Nected, our clients have been able to launch customer-facing flows 5x fast and iterate 10x faster with even a non-tech team. So let's come back to how we have built Swiggy-like chatbot so as to show you the actual implementation of things. So to start with, this is the workflow which has this trigger as an API. So every workflow, every rule over Nected get exposed over an API by default, which has a particular payload depending on the input params. So this input params, while I have created a lot of inputs, but what matters is the previous question so that we know what's the previous question as in string, then answer to the previous question so that that can be consumed in the flow. Then we also have previous question list. The reason is that we are using the same API being called again and again for each question and answer. So we are just passing it by a front end so that our logic can understand what all questions has been answered and can actually iterate or move forward to the next question, which is to be processed. The last thing that you need is a user ID or an email to be sent along. Using which you can fetch any other attributes like past orders or any kind of a current status from your database or from any of your API, which I'll show you in a bit. So once you have configured this input parameters, what we'll see is I'll fetch the user data from the API. So this is the mock API we have created. If I click on test, so based on the user ID, which is used as a token here, we'll be able to fetch all the corresponding orders and the status of the orders from this API. Instead of API, you could have used a database plugin, so that way you can just query from your database using our database connectors. So I'll just save it. Now it's a starting question that I have to throw based on the question answer. So if I'll go back here, so these are the orders which are dynamically coming from those APIs I'm being shown here. Then in the starting question, obviously it's nothing but it's a start or a key that I have defined, and then based on the initial answers we have created a response of each step. Now this is where the main implementation also lies. So in this, what we have done is, so as I said, half of the day went into designing a contract and what response to be sent, and that I said because we wanted it to be very generic, that the UI can automatically be rendered rather than hard coding anything on the front end. So for this, we have created kind of a semantic where you can actually use what type of message is it. It holds a text, and if it's answer, what's the follow-up questions that will go into. And here say if you type this, so now we know as a UI this type list will be rendered like this. But if it is gonna be a info message or intro message, this is how it is gonna be implemented. So this is what we had defined as a standard contract before implementing things over Nected. And if you go check each of the responses based on those types, and this we have created different. So this is again a list. So see, so in this case what we have defined is another type, which is a question, and this question means that it will have options, and options will be defined, option will be shown here. So if I go back, if I click on anything, so this is a question that has come with an option like these. So what we have done is we defined a standard JSON responses which frontend can consume, write a generic code to render any kind of a thing. So in the future, if business team comes and change these responses or the flows, the frontend will be automatically able to adapt it. Now all you have to do in here is to build these kind of a branches. So based on the start, if there is anything, then we'll throw the starting question, but if the answer has been already done, we'll throw the question of yes and no. But if the answer is yes to this previous question, then these are the options that will come. So these are the options that we'll see if it is a no, different order, and then you can have each branch for every answer. So if I'll click on other issues, you can have another list of this where you send this. And now if I click on have coupon related query, so what we have created a dynamic response in which you can just do what kind of a coupons you apply. Now this is just a sample of it. You can actually do anything as you want as a part of this branch. If I click on plus, you can actually call up any of the rule. If there is a condition, you can actually call your database to fetch anything in between. You can call your API, you can call another workflow, maybe like or an API. So maybe a workflow where you will decide whether the delivery is going to be connected or it's a chat that has to end it, and accordingly you can actually decide what to do in those branches. So once you're done, all you have to go and test your whole workflow if it is working fine, and then you can publish it. We do have this form, so you can actually try different scenarios as much as you want, and only once you're confident then you publish it in production. In this case, I've already seen, like the previous question is a help with order, and this is the list of the questions that have already been answered, and the answer is the issue. I'll click on test now, and we'll get a step-by-step movement and debugging logics, like what's the input, what's the output. So for this is the input that has feed into the workflow. Then based on that, there is a user data that we have fetched in terms of the orders and the status. Apart from it, then the start node, because the question has already been answered, different order, that's already also answered, select order, confirm order, but this now help with the order. So now workflow response was with this path, in which you'll see the options that is going here, and these are the exact option that you're seeing here on the other issues. So while this video was about building Swiggy-like conversational chatbot, but you can think of any iterative, evolving, customer-facing flow that needs real-time response. Nected can be a tool where you can build that in hours if it used to take weeks, and in days if it used to take months. Further, with our non-tech friendly UI, you can easily offload the iterative work to the business team so that you can free yourself from ad hoc, frequent, mundane work, which is not worth the time and expert of the tech team. To check it out firsthand, please visit our website nected.ai and sign up for a free trial, and you can yourself try it out. If you need any help, feel free to contact me or my team at the email assist@nected.ai. If you are still here, thanks for being patient and following me through, and I look forward to talk to you. Thank you.